Smoked rack of lamb is one of those special meals, and man, when that wood fire flavor comes through, it's just really hard to beat. It's not that hard. I'll show you all the easy steps. So here we've got a rack of lamb. This is about 1.5 pounds. I got this one at Costco, and you can see that it does have kind of a thicker fat cap on here. All the bones are on the other side. This one's pretty well French too. So you could leave it just as is. If you wanted to be picky, you could shave off some of the fat too. It's not necessary. It's pretty thin layers you can see on here, but I'll just shave a little bit more off so you can see. I don't really like to take too much off because it does add a lot of flavor. I do like to keep this and render it down to use some lamb fat for like potatoes and stuff, so don't get rid of this. What I like to do is just make a tiny little slit in between the bones here. Just makes it easier to cut through at the very end. It's not necessary, but we don't need to remove the membrane on the back. It's gonna get nice and crispy. This is a really simple process. So aside from trimming anything that you don't want on the front, maybe getting rid of some of the stuff in between the bones, if there's excess meat or fat in there, there's nothing else to do other than season. That's one of my favorite things to do, is because lamb tastes good with so many different flavors. My Sedona sand seasoning was originally made for a lamb dish. It was something I did years ago, so if you like barbacoa or any kind of other Mexican flavors, this is really good. You can go salt and pepper. Just keep it very simple. Salt, pepper, maybe even a little bit of garlic. Today I'm actually gonna just use my Canyon Crust seasoning, which is coarse salt, pepper, garlic. Very little smoky chilies in here too. We're just gonna lightly season both sides. We don't need this huge crusty bark like we would with brisket. Just make sure you roll it around so it gets evenly coated. And that's pretty much it. Now all I need to do is go light up the grill. Now for today, we're doing it a little differently. I am gonna do it over charcoal. We're gonna be searing and then smoking, and I'll explain why. All right, the charcoal grill's been preheated. I've got a 2-zone setup going. So I've got the coals on one side so we can sear off the lamb. We'll smoke them on the other. And I forgot I had 2 racks of lamb, so I went ahead and just seasoned up the second one. And you don't really need to dry brine these. Just seasoning them and letting them hang out while the grill heats up is good enough. So let's go ahead and get these thrown on. All right, I got the Weber kettle set up here. We've got the coals that are really hot here, and then the other side's nice and cool. So let's go ahead and get the lamb. We're gonna sear these for just a minute or 2 on each side. Almost forgot. Now the goal of this step is not to fully cook the lamb at all. What we wanna do is sear the outside, because if you actually reverse sear lamb, what I found is that the fat caps kind of crack open and really ruin that bark. And I found that doing it in a traditional process, searing first, smoking second, still picks up all that great smoke flavor, get a great render on the fat cap, and you still build up a little bit of that nice char. As you can see, this one's a little hotter. So, and these are completely raw on the inside. We're just building up that initial crust. Let's go ahead, get this moved to the other side, and what we'll do is we'll put bone side facing the heat. And I'm using lump charcoal, so we're gonna get some really great smoke flavor out of that too. If you wanted to, you could put some wood chips in here. You can put some wood chunks for extra flavor. And I'm gonna go ahead, get these set up here, and then we're gonna cook them to about 130. So I got the grill lid back on. The grill is coming down to a temperature of around 275 to 300, and that's gonna fully cook the lamb, but it's gonna give it just enough smoke flavor to not completely overwhelm it. I found that if you do reverse sear, where you smoke first and then sear, it takes on so much smoke flavor that it really kind of overshadows the flavor of the lamb. So I'm sticking with the traditional method of searing and then finishing at a lower temperature, and that works for me. So we'll be back in a little bit, and I'm looking for about 130 degrees. All right, it's that time. All right, we're clocking in those low 130s here. Each of these are just about at medium rare, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull them off. We'll let them rest for about a few minutes and we'll slice in. Looking good. All right, we got both racks here and they are looking nice, crusty, nice and smoky. I'm ready to slice into these guys. All right, so what we're gonna wanna do is cut between each of the bones, and just like pork ribs, I like to do this from the back. It's just easier to see. Look at that, perfect, medium rare. This rested for about 10 minutes or so. Nice and juicy. It's pink all the way throughout, still got a great smoke flavor. I mean, we'll have to taste test it, of course. Oh my gosh. It's so tender, it just melts right in your mouth. Let's get the rest of these sliced up and maybe I'll get some sauce out. Now with lamb, I always like to salt afterwards. It just needs that little bit of extra kick. But I kind of forgot that I made this red chimichurri sauce the other day and I've got some extra here. So this is in my YouTube channel. Recipe is in the description. We have a video for that too. This goes great with lamb. Can't help myself, sit down today. Gotta enjoy a bite. It's just so tender and rich. Smoked lamb is such a special thing. So there's a few different ways that you could cook a rack of lamb. Now obviously I grilled and then smoked it all the way to the perfect temperature for me, which was aiming for about 135-ish so that I could get that medium rare with lamb. If you like way more smoke flavor, you could smoke it all the way through and without searing. Or you could do the traditional reverse sear, smoke it and then sear at the very end. You'd probably want to give yourself a 10-degree wiggle room. So probably pull it off about 120, 125-ish, and then sear. You're gonna get more smoke flavor. You'll taste less lamb, so it could be a little bit less gamey. This is just how I prefer it because you still get a great crust. The fat renders really well, and you get that tender bite like every time. They're so good. I hope this recipe was helpful. Maybe it alleviated some nerves that you have about cooking lamb. Biggest key is just make sure that you use that internal meat thermometer. The timing can change depending on so many different factors. So try to aim for that 130, 135 mark. And as always, subscribe, leave a comment. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers.